Well, Micah Parsons is still seeking his own contract extension with the Cowboys, and he boasts an extensive resume to back up his request. Parsons has made the Pro Bowl in each of his 4 years in Dallas and has earned 2 first-team All-Pro selections. He's never tallied less than 12 sacks in a season. It has been a big offseason in the NFL on the defensive side. TJ Watt was not the only one that got paid this offseason. It saw the likes of Myles Garrett, Daniel Hunter, and Max Crosby get deals as well. Micah thinks it's past time that he joins that list. Take a listen to this sound.
We have no control when the contract is done. We obviously want to get done early. We want that relief off our backs, but obviously ownership is always going to make it drag out, make it more complicated than it has to be. Lack of communication in that standpoint, but I just always say, God has me this far. He ain't done with me yet, so I just keep working, keep going, and then when it come, I'm gonna be ready. But it ain't gonna be no drop off. It's gonna be just straight.
First of all, Mike, so we gotta get you that hat. Not of a team, but a large, fat head. I love those hats. They're my favorite. Harry, coming to you. Micah's comment. Something, nothing, stating the obvious. What you got?
No, I don't think we can ignore it, because what he's basically saying is that the Dallas Cowboys and the way they operate and do business, it's not the norm of what you see from everyone else across the National Football League. They wait to the last minute to do everything, and it costs them more money on the back end. So Michael Parsons is saying about Jerry Jones, who's the general manager and also the owner, that, hey, when it comes to contract negotiations, things are being dragged out when they don't have to be. So right now, when I see TJ Watt as the highest paid non-quarterback at $41 million a year, I say to myself, then what are the Dallas Cowboys waiting on now? Right? Because you know the numbers, you have the contracts, you have Myles Garrett at $40 million per year, you have Jamar Chase at $40.25, TJ Watt at $41. What are you waiting on? And why are you dragging this out? We know from a standpoint of Micah Parsons being a ferocious player, a guy that they can count on, who has had double-digit sacks all 4 years in the National Football League. We know what he's going to bring to the table every single time he's out there on the field. We know how much he loves the game and how much he wants to win. But why does it take so long for these guys in Dallas to get their money? Now, at the end of the day, I will say this. Jerry ends up paying his guys, but why do I got to jump through a hula hoop, go through monkey bars, and do a front flip to be able to get my money when I've been producing on the field?
You acrobatic to be able to do all that. It's a great question. RC, how's your front flip in the monkey bars? How's that looking for you?
Well, my shoulders only go back this far, so monkey bars ain't really for me no more. And the way my hips, knees, and ankles set up, I'm not gonna know what a front flip look like for the rest of my life. So I'm not tripping on none of that. But I do agree with Harry in this. It seems like the Dallas Cowboys continue to do this, even though the evidence shows it helps them in no way. They haven't held out from Zach Martin or Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and gotten some type of hometown discount. No, these guys have waited until the last minute, or even stayed at home or went to Cabo or wherever it was, and still got all of their money. And the same exact thing is going to happen with Micah Parsons. Here is why I think it's something what he said, because he said lack of communication. That's the problem to me. Why should there be a lack of communication for me, who, even though I didn't participate in the offseason and get on the field, I made sure I was there. I was there to lead. I was there to be seen. I was there to communicate that I want to be a Dallas Cowboys. That even though through my first 4 seasons in the league, all I've done is been an All-Pro. All I've done is been a Pro Bowler. All I've done is produce, and there's a lack of communication. Even if you're telling me every day, hey, these numbers don't work, or we're working on it, or we're going to be talking to David Mulligetta, you're at least telling me something. And so for business to be done that way, that's a bigger problem for me than them not even having the deal done yet, because we already know, like Harry said earlier, today's price is much higher than yesterday's price, and that price is being set by every new deal that's done.
Yeah, RC, I think you're saying something very fundamental. I think the best organizations in the world are ones that look at themselves with rigor and say, hey, what can we do better? If you go back to Zeke Elliott, where has it benefited Dallas to have the strategy? Zeke Elliott, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott. So to me, when I'm in an arms race with Philadelphia, which, by the way, Washington is now part of this discussion, guys, and I'm looking for any advantage I can get on the margins, much the way Philly does it. We talked this morning, Harry, about how proactive and aggressive they are. I lose good players because I'm paying Micah Parsons is going nowhere. He is too young, too productive, and homegrown. He's going to be there. The more fundamental story here is how much it hurts Dallas, who, by the way, actually, they draft well, but then all these other players, like DeMarcus Lawrence and Jordan Lewis, on and on and on, they lose good players, and when they come up short over and over again, which I'm sure we'll be talking about in January again, here is a material reason why. What I would have done is said, hey, the first day after your third year, when you're extension eligible, Micah, you're not going home. We are going to get locked in a room, and we are not leaving until we can come up with a reasonable solution on the extension. Again, if the four of us were here last summer, $34 million a year with Nick Bosa was the highest paid non-quarterback. It is now $41 million. They just cost themselves $7 million a year. So to me, I don't understand why they use the strategy. I'd love to hear from them why they think it's effective.
So I'm literally listening to you, Mike T, and I'm like, are you going to explain why they would wait? But there's no reason why they would wait. They fumbled.
It's never made sense.
It just makes zero.
For the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm trying to find
It's never made sense to be transparent for them. In a positive way.
Okay.
It seemed like they want to do things on the opposite end of the spectrum, and I get it, y'all. Jerry Jones is in his 80s. Trust me, I'm around people that are in their 80s, and when you try to tell them something, you might as well not tell it to them. But somebody has to tell Jerry Jones. Somebody has to get through to Jerry Jones and tell him that, hey, this is not benefiting our football team. This is hurting our football team. And I go back a few years. Was it last year? Last year, when you have a guy in Derrick Henry, and even though you say as a Dallas Cowboy front office member you weren't going to sign him, if you signed Dak Prescott earlier, you have that money available. If something went wrong, you say, you know what, we're gonna sign him. But the reason why you did not have that money available is because you waited to the day of a football game to give Dak Prescott his contract.
And to that point, it's very fundamental, guys. Like, who else is playing quarterback for them? Like, they didn't draft his like, he is their quarterback. You're essentially giving him a blank check. Likewise, Micah Parsons is going nowhere. That's not the story. The story is strategically they're hurting themselves with their competition.
I know you said talking to older folks sometimes can be which I agree. But RC, look, I feel like the Benjamins should still be talking. You want to go here, RC, or do we want to move it on to the bigger picture of if they get this done and if Dak is healthy?
Okay, yeah, I'm going to get to that, though. But the Cowboys, essentially what they do is sell contractual wolf tickets, right?
Oh.
Like, I remember Martin Lawrence had, Martin Lawrence was beefing with Gina that time, and he was like, step, Gina, go. And then when Gina went to open the door, he's like, no. They sit here.
My team lost here.
Like they sit here and they wait on giving people these contracts like they're not going to give them to them. Right? Like, we got Micah Parsons sitting at home wondering when this contract is going to get done, as if it's never going to get done. Micah know he going to get his money. His agent know he going to get his money. We know that he going to get his money. So waiting is not going to make him anxious. It didn't make CeeDee Lamb anxious. It didn't make Dak Prescott anxious. They know they're going to wait you out, and they're going to eventually get rich. So why not get it done early? And so now think about what Harry said. If you get Dak Prescott even done the year before, now you're in a situation, your quarterback secure, you could go get a Derrick Henry. Or this offseason when Jordan Lewis leaves for the Jacksonville Jaguars after having a career year as a player, but also a career year as a leader, you can get him signed. DeMarcus Lawrence, who even with Micah Parsons being the best player on defense, was the heartbeat of the defensive line. You can work on getting a deal done with him. And so now you find yourself in this position where you're going to have Micah Parsons, but you're not going to have enough to win a championship. George Pickens is going to be great. CeeDee Lamb is going to be great. I expect this offense to play at a high level because of Dak Prescott. But when have we seen Dak Prescott show up as his best self in the playoffs? Which he's going to have to do in order for them to win. So why not get him help defensively to stop the run, to have you in a better position to win football games? And so I think the way they've constructed this team has been malpracticed by the front office, especially based on how well they drafted and developed.
Malpractice, a strong word. Conclusion is, what is y'all doing, the Cowboys front office? All right, y'all, great discussion there. We'll certainly all be waiting to see what that check looks like when Micah